Okay, so I guess we'll start and probably a few more will join us. So thanks everyone for joining our fourth community call. My name is Eitan. I'm leading the ecosystem development at B.Protocol. And just a few short rules to get the call going. Please keep your mic muted, unless, of course, you're speaking or asking questions. For questions, we have a community call chat channel. So please use that to write down whatever questions you have during the call. If we want to have enough time, to answer all the questions, we'll reply to them, just after the call. Please talk with respect to one each other when and if talking, and no price talks. That's basically it. So today we have two great projects as our special guest. We'll have first Maker Growth Team. I believe Maury is here and Jennifer, if I'm not wrong. So thanks for joining us. They have just shared a very in-depth tweet thread from the MakerDAO growth on B.Protocol and how to use it and the liquidity mining. So they will just share their views on the integration, and I hope also to get some more updates from what's going on in Maker. Some new stuff is going on without the foundation now. And after that, we'll have Hats Finance team will elaborate on the latest proposal they've posted on the forum for the DAO to fund the new B.Pro Vault on their recently launched platform. So they will tell us all about it in a few minutes. So basically, that's it. MakerDAO team, MakerDAO growth team. Who's gonna start?
Hey, this is Jen from the growth team. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So just a quick introduction. My name is Jen Haji. I work on Maker Growth, and Maker Growth, for those that that aren't familiar, is a core unit that works under MakerDAO. So MakerDAO recently fully dissolved the foundation back in, I guess this was in late July or August. So now the DAO is completely in control of all aspects of the protocol. And so there are business units that we refer to as core units, which are essentially providing services to the DAO in order to scale and continue to support and grow the ecosystem. So Maker Growth is essentially the business development, core unit. So my time is spent, working with different applications and distribution channels and business opportunities to integrate DAI, bring more users to the protocol, and essentially scale DAI distribution. So that's a little bit about me. Maury, I'll let you introduce yourself. I know you're here as well.
Yeah. So hi everyone, I'm Maury. I'm the technical integrations lead for MakerDAO's growth core unit. And my job is mostly based around helping other projects to integrate with DAI and the MakerDAO system. So I've joined MakerDAO recently, so I haven't had the chance to work with a lot of projects yet, but I'm looking forward to keep on working with you guys.
Great. Jen, can you, maybe go through the thread or just give us, your perspective on, maybe how the Maker Growth team sees integrations such as B.Protocol, which aren't that, I think there aren't so many integrations like B.Protocol offering kind of a separated interface for MakerDAO users to use their to manage their CDP, their vaults. So yeah, if you can briefly give us your point of view on that, and maybe some insights on future plans you have in the growth team.
Yeah. So kind of high level and just, disclaimer, I'm not a developer. So my technical ability to kind of go into the details of how this integration works is somewhat limited, but kind of high level and what it's, why it's exciting. For growth and also, more importantly, users of Maker is, the tooling that B.Protocol has been providing, and making, kind of giving a little bit more assurance to Vault users that liquidations are going to be taking place. There's a robust group of participants available to facilitate liquidations. So that I think is like a really important tool just in general, that there are these applications that are supporting critical functions of the Maker protocol, one of which is liquidations. Now going, beyond that with your kind of new rewards program that will allow Vault users to earn, your tokens is really fun. And I think, it just is another way for, Maker to maintain and potentially attract new Vault users, because now there's this liquidity mining upside for simply doing things that you might have been doing already, and this gives you more more of a incentive to continue to do it with Maker. So I think the positive from a growth perspective is that it's giving these nice rewards to Vault users who have been coming to the protocol for various reasons to generate DAI, and now by doing that same thing, they're actually getting this access to these tokens. So I think that's exciting.
Yeah. Also, from another point of view, you can think of the B.Protocol as another interface to actually interact with the Maker ecosystem. And something that I think is really important is having this decentralization, that there's no one interface that's the only source of truth for the protocol, and having something that kind of equates to what Oasis does in another in the same, that works in the same capacity and helps people manage their CDPs in a better well, not in a better, but in another and fun way. I think it is really important. So yeah, also the continuous support from the B.Protocol protocol, really, to actually enable these liquidations to take place, actually supports the protocol in a way that actually enables other people to generate more rewards. And I think that's really interesting. It makes participating in the Maker ecosystem a more rewarding experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's basically summarized, the essence of, of B.Protocol. It is the V1 integration that we have with Maker, where Maker users, existing users as well as new users, can just get the exact same experience, and functionalities that they get from interacting directly with Maker through Oasis. Only with B.Protocol, they get probably two main benefits. One, the first one is actually supporting or assisting in stabilizing the Maker DAO protocol, as the liquidations are being handled by the professional backstop that we have with V1. And by that, making events like Black Thursday and other, sharp declines in the market, basically being more safe for the whole protocol. And the other one is of course, the incentives, where those users are actually sharing the rewards from the liquidations that are made by the backstop, as well as, of course, currently with the liquidity mining, also getting B.Pro tokens as rewards for just using Maker through the B.Protocol interface. So I think that's kind of summarizing things. And I think looking forward, at least from our perspective, working on the V2 integration, the B.Protocol V2 integration, which was, for those who are not familiar, the MakerDAO governance have passed a vote a few weeks ago about enabling or opening a new vault type, a WBTC-B vault, probably, which will have a lower collateralization ratio, meaning users could get more DAI for their collateral. And this vault will be backstopped by B.Protocol exclusively, meaning the B.Protocol backstop will be handling liquidations on that vault. And I think this is kind of a more in-depth integration, strengthening those connections between the two protocols. So yeah, I think that's kind
of course. This kind of vault wouldn't be possible with well, at least in my understanding, it wouldn't be possible with without this kind of backstop liquidations in place, since the collateralization ratio would be so low compared to other vaults. So I think that's really interesting. It enables people to actually get more use out of their Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. And basically that's the main goal for B.Protocol is kind of unleashing better capital efficiency for DeFi users, and MakerDAO being one of the most veteran protocols in DeFi, and lots of users are looking at Maker as one of the pillars in DeFi in a correct way. And I think just integrating that and this composability of DeFi again is showing that lots of things are being enabled just by all these integrations. So it's definitely exciting. Jen, can you share with us a few insights, alpha leaks on what's going on with Maker? What can users expect going forward now that the foundation is dissolving or dissolved already?
Yes. So there's a lot of kind of product iterations that have been released in the last 3 to 6 months, and some interesting ones coming up. So kind of just to name a few, real world assets has been something that the community has been working on, trying to define what types of frameworks it can use to assess and onboard real world assets. So now, there are 2 frameworks in place that have allowed the community to actually onboard. I think we're up to like 3 or 4 at this point. So, scaling the collateral pool to include real world assets has always been, kind of a critical goal of the protocol, because this provides diversification of risk. So we're not just tied to crypto native assets in the event of like major market crashes that might just be specific to crypto. As there's more diversification in the Maker protocol that includes real world assets, that protects the overall portfolio. So it's still early days, but now there has been a handful of different real world assets that have been onboarded to the protocol. One, for example, is called New Silver, which is a loan originator who provides loans to commercial real estate developers. There's another one in the pipeline that is, going to be providing loans to producers of solar farms, which is pretty interesting. There's just a handful of really interesting proposals taking place. Another aspect is another kind of product tool that we're seeing a lot of growth and utility with is the PSM, the PEG stability module, and this was launched shortly after Black Thursday last year in an attempt to stabilize the PEG. And it's become like a really critical tool for users to be able to easily get in and out of DAI using other stablecoins. So currently you can go to the PSM and swap one-to-one DAI for either USDC. And the community recently added Pax's USDP, their stablecoin that they now call Pax USDP. So that's provided a really useful way for users to close out their vaults if they need access to DAI. This is another way to do that. And then we just announced last week the upcoming release of a tool called the D3M, which is essentially going to be a special vault that will provide direct DAI generation into secondary venues. The first being Aave. So there will be DAI generated that will go directly into the Aave pools and will provide those pools with kind of a more predictable target rate for borrowers on Aave. This is something that will most definitely scale to other secondary lending platforms. And it's going to be like another way to just increase DAI liquidity across the ecosystem. So that is in the works and is going to be probably live mid-October-ish. And other than that, we're tinkering with some things related to institutional borrowing. And gosh, I don't know if I'm forgetting anything else, but a lot of things going on.
Sounds cool. So, we are always looking to grow the MakerDAO ecosystem, of course, through the participation, via B.Protocol. But just getting, the news out there are so many things happening in DeFi all the time, and just keeping track of everything is so hard. You can spend 24 hours, 7 days a week, just reading and following everything, and still, you wouldn't get, just the tip of the iceberg. So thanks for sharing everything on that. I think, once we are in kind of the middle of the integration with the V2, and I think once we'll get that closer to launch, we'll probably be very happy to have you guys again and see how things can be, again, shared to bring the community together, the two communities together. So I think if there are any questions for the MakerDAO growth team members, so please either put it on the community call chat or just unmute yourself and ask.
So for the layer 2 plans, I see Dabar's question in the chat. So he's asking about layer 2 plans. We are currently looking into getting more of a foothold in Arbitrum. There are plans to, we launched the official DAI stablecoin on Arbitrum via the Arbitrum bridge. I think it was last week. But the smart contract structure is in place for us to actually be able to enable vaults on layer 2 for people to be able to actually mint DAI on layer 2. So that would help like the normal person who only has like a couple $100 to actually interact with the protocol and possibly generate revenue in that way.
Yes, currently the dust is quite high, and
that's the thing. I mean, we are taking that into account because there's a lot of people who actually tried MakerDAO, like the tried minting DAI when the gas was like kind of cheap, but now they are really priced out of Ethereum layer 1. So that's a problem we are thinking of actually solving. Yeah, that's the thing. Fees are really high, and the thing is, if you the maker ecosystem has a lot of code on the blockchain, and if you wanna open a vault or do a liquidation, you have to you need a lot of collateral to actually make that gas cost worth it. So that's something we are currently planning and discussing.
Cool. Any more questions before we close this part and move to the next one? So I'll just say thank you, Jen and Maury, for joining us and for all this info. And I will just encourage anyone who's using Maker or was just thinking about using Maker to just import. If you're already using Maker, you can basically import with one click and move your vault into B.Protocol and gain the rewards, the B-Pro rewards from the liquidity mining. And if you are new to Maker, well, it's time to use it. So again, just go over to B.Protocol app and start using Maker to gain the rewards. So yeah, there's more information on the community call chat being shared, and we'll share it also later on the general channel. So thanks again, guys. So moving forward, we have the Hats Finance team with us. Welcome.
Yeah. Hi, Ethan. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, there's some background noise, but
I'm sorry, it's the ocean. I cannot make it mute. So first, thank you very much for hosting us here in a community call. My name is Ophir. I'm a member of the marketing and the BizDev team, and we really appreciate the opportunity to do it over here. Can I share my screen so I can?
Yeah. If you're on, you can see on. You can just hover.
Let me know if you can see my screen now. Yeah, it's working?
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So I would like to take this time to go through the B.Protocol vaults on Hats, the committee, and the submit vulnerability process, and of course our proposal for the funding of the B.Protocol vault with B.Pro token. First, I will introduce Hats to people that don't know. So Hats is a decentralized cybersecurity proactive protocol that is governed by her stockholders, projects, project community, artists, investors, hackers, auditors, and actually pretty much all the users of the DeFi and the Web 3.0 space. We have created a cybersecurity marketplace that incentivizes white hat hackers for finding a vulnerability and responsible disclosure them using Hats application. So as you can see here, there is a few vaults. So each vault is represent a bug bounty program. It's a scalable bounty network, which means that the TVL of the vault will increase with the success of the token and the appreciation of a B.Protocol project or any other project that will add to this application. So I will go through the B.Protocol vault, and I will go on the setup that we have here just to make sure that everyone is familiar with the user interface, and then I will go through a little bit of the vulnerability process, questions, and of course the proposal. So last week we announced the B.Protocol new vault on Hats. Let's see what it means. It means that on each one of the vaults there is a committee members. The committee members have some responsibility, and I will count them here, just to add or remove for the first time, like the contracts that are going to be covered by these bug bounty vaults. They can add or change the severity description of each one of the severity. They can dedicate it like the precise amounts of the percentage of each of the vaults, and of course the NFT. I think that the biggest responsibility of the committee, of course, is to communicate, approve or disapprove the hacker submission of the vulnerability, and I will touch it in a minute. Each vault, as you can see, has its own NFT, actually each severity. At the moment, it's determined by the governance of heads, but soon we'll start to work with all of the communities of each one of the vaults to make them working on the NFT, to be much more involved, to choose the artist, and of course to have something that will work in line with the project itself. As you can see over here, the rewards, I just want to see, the rewards are splits that is also a little bit different than the bug bounty, the general bug bounty, as you know, is splits for a few different approaches, which means that the hacker will get some of the funds if he will be responsible to disclose the vulnerability directly. Some of them going to be vested, some of them going directly to the committee member of their work, some of them going to heads governance. And this another thing that most of the things over here are quite default, but some of them the committee is also responsible for doing it. What is the beauty of HATS, being a fully permissionless protocol, is that everyone, which means DAOs, treasury, and individuals that are holding B.Pro, can deposit or withdraw funds from the vault at any point, and actually by any point and by any amount. By doing that, the depositor will farm HATS token. Regarding our liquidity mining that's going to start soon, we're going to let the community know a little bit before that it will be launched. I can just show you like quickly how the liquidity project just deposited $250K 2 days ago, and less than 24 hours later there was another 250 or more deposits of LUSD on the vault itself by the community, what brings the vault size to more than $500,000. That it's quite a big incentive for hackers and auditors to go through liquidity contracts and to find vulnerability. So I will go quickly on the submit vulnerability process. This is actually what the user can see, and of course the hacker as well. But if we are going to the flow that the hacker can do, so after you're going to choose, after the hacker choosing the project that you want to add the vulnerability, he will write his Telegram handle. He will write the beneficiary wallet, and after it, he's going to write a title and a detailed description of the vulnerability. We are soon going to have a template that you will use it for some more convenience way of submit it. So after checking the terms of use, then going to be an online transaction will occur continuing the hash of the vulnerability description. We are using it as a spam filter for the committee. After the approval of the transaction, encrypted vulnerability description will send by the committee vault. Can you hear me?
No need.
Sorry, there is a bit of background noise.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just will repeat what I'm saying. So what will happen after you're going to submit the vulnerability? It's going to be in transaction will occur continuing the hash of the vulnerability description. As I said, we are using it as a spam filter for the committee, not going to be boomed with different vulnerability that they're going to send for them. After the approval of the transaction, the description of the vulnerability will be encrypted and will send by the committee bot to a private Telegram channel with the committee himself. From here, the committee will communicate directly with the hacker. So this is basically the flow that you have for the audit or the hacker that's going to add the vulnerability. And here, as you can see, this is the user interface for anyone that want to deposit B.Pro or any other token inside of the vault that is already holding the token of this kind of the project. So I will jump to the proposal that we, I will stop sharing here. So I will jump to the proposal that we 2 days ago posted in your forum, and I hope that we'll have some time for question later on. So we asked the B.Protocol DAO to fund the B.Pro vault on Hats with the amount of $100,000 worth of B.Pro to incentivize white hat hackers and auditors, of course, to make B.Protocol a safer environment. It's a permissionless and open vault, means that anyone can deposit and withdraw at any time at any amount. Just bear in mind that these funds will be released from the vault only due to vulnerability disclosure. The upside from fixing issue is drastically more valuable than the financial face value of the B.Pro token that are going to be deposited. So we would like to push this proposal forward and ask the community to vote for it. This is pretty much our application, our use cases. And if there is any questions, I'm here with my colleagues, so we can answer them.
Great, thanks, Ophir. So if there are any questions for the HATS team, if anyone went through the proposal and have any questions, I might just add that from what I understand, there's also an option to use the same funds, or at least part of the funds that been deposited from the DAO reserve into a separated account to back any the Immunify bug bounty, which was just voted in the last BIP number 6. So we can basically use the same funds from there or part of that funds to basically, instead of just sitting idle, just being deposited into the B.Pro vault on HATS Finance. And there is, and just gain from potential rewards coming hopefully soon with the HATS Finance platform. So if there are any questions. I see Deborah is writing something down.
Right now, the committee is composed of Oren, that is part of Heads team, and Yaron, which is part of B.Protocol, and Yele, who is an auditor at Heads as well.
Hey guys, I just had a quick question, real fast. You said that the B.Pro is going to be locked unless there is a vulnerability disclosure. Does that mean like years down the road, it would be locked indefinitely. In other words, this amount, there's like if we went on 5 years and we were confident in the contracts, it would be an eternal locking.
Um, I want just to make it clear that it's a permissionless protocol, HETS, and there is a withdraw request that is like delayed by 7 days, but whenever B.Protocol community will decide that it doesn't need to provide cover for the protocol anymore, so it can click the withdraw request and withdraw the funds.
All right.
Yeah, I think just to clarify, so back then Ophir said something in the flavor that it recites forever until there is a bug. There is a bug report, but what he actually meant that this is unless, of course, someone withdraw it, right? I mean, whoever deposited can also withdraw it at any time.
Yes, if it wasn't clear, so totally correct.
So basically, it's a way for the DAO to get another kind of probably layer of security, if you want to look at it that way. Just like we have a bug bounty with Immunify, only this bug bounty proposed by HATS is kind of more dynamic, where BPro token holders can actually, feels very comfortable, if they feel comfortable and secure with the protocol and trust the protocol, can basically deposit their BPro. I understand in the future there will be some kind of liquidity mining rewards from the HATS protocol. So it's not only for the DAO basically to use that, as you mentioned, with Liquidity, there are, the Liquidity team has deposited, I think it was $250,000, and then other users just, deposited more. And, of course, as the vault is bigger, there are more incentives for white hat hackers to actually, try and hack the protocol and find whatever bugs, if there are any, and disclose them in a trusted way. So yeah, and basically then they will get, according to the bug that they will be reporting, they will get some part of the vault. So yeah, you can read all the details in the proposal over in the forum. If there are any questions there, you can of course put them there. And I think at least, and also if you tag anyone from the HATS team on Discord, you can get their attention to answer any questions also here on our Discord after the call as well. So we'll just give another 10 seconds if there are any other questions from anyone to the HATS team before we move on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Just a quick question. I can't find any documents on tokenomics and so regarding to HATS finance.
I will share it here now, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Okay, so thanks for the HATS team. If you can share those docs both on the forum if they are not there, and also on our Discord channel, that would be awesome. So we'll move on to the next part, and of course, I assume the big news from the last call we had last month, or a bit less than that, was the launch of the liquidity mining, and there were a few questions in the last 10 days since it was announced, and I thought just to go briefly through it, just kind of to cover the main questions that we saw people had and maybe some confusions, and of course take whatever questions people might still have regarding the liquidity mining, how it operates, who's entitled to get BPro liquidations. So just I'll share my screen. Okay. So let me know if you can see my screen. Anyone?
Yeah, we can. I can see.
So first of all, who's entitled for the B.Pro reward? So basically, there's a kind of a weights included. So basically, everyone who's using either MakerDAO or Compound, which are it's our V1 integrations, get B.Pro rewards. There are weights as being in the first liquidity mining. So there's more rewards being distributed for borrowing funds than to depositing. So it's 0.2 versus 0.8 when we calculate the weights for how much users deposit versus how much they borrow. And for liquidity depositors, basically as it's our V2, and as we mentioned a few times earlier, we're kind of focusing on V2 and trying to grow the V2 integrations and to attract more liquidity there and more attention to the V2. So basically the V2, and also there are no borrowing options on the liquidity, on the LUSD deposits in the stability pool. So the weight over there is 1. So they get more, basically both. They get both for the deposited and for the borrowed, assumed borrowed funds. So basically, there's kind of an equation where if you just have your Maker and Compound deposits, if you're assuming a user is using all 3 integrations, you can use this simple equation in the bottom of my screen and just realize, how to calculate your rewards. Of course, as the total weights are changing, they are dynamic as the TVL is growing and people are either depositing or withdrawing funds or borrowing more. So the total weights are changing. There is in the documents, we put up kind of a numerical example with the existing numbers. So you can kind of get the weights, how to calculate the weights currently. And what happens is that according to those weights and to the amount that you use the protocol, a user is using the protocol by depositing and borrowing from Compound or just depositing LUSD into liquidity stability pool, all of course via the B.Protocol app, he gets a share or she gets a share of the 30,000 B.Pro BIP4 tokens. And this also, been kind of the source for both, I know we got very good feedback on using UMA, but also a few confusions. So maybe just go quickly through, how does it actually work? So the DAO posts the vote on the UMA KPI option. So the DAO deposited 90K B.Pro into an UMA's KPI option vote, which is a contract made by UMA, and minted 30K B.Pro BIP4 tokens, which are ERC20 tokens. You can claim them through the farm info page on the B.Protocol app. And those UMA option tokens, which we just had to give it some name, so we name it, after the BIP4, which was the BIP where the liquidity mining was approved. Users accumulate those B.Pro tokens, each block according to the above weights that I've just mentioned. And the thing with the UMA KPI option is that they will be redeemable at the end of the liquidity mining phase. If TVL is at 150 million or larger than that, each B.Pro BIP4 token will be redeemable for 3 B.Pro tokens. And if we're not reaching that KPI, that was the KPI that was voted upon, the 150 million TVL. If we won't get to the TVL of 150 million, each one each B.Pro token will be redeemable for just 1 B.Pro. So basically, there's kind of an aligned incentive, for all users and to try and grow the TVL of the protocol up to 150 to actually triple the rewards. And you can track and claim your UBPro BIP4 tokens at the farm info page. It looks like that. It's just, you can reach it through the app.bprotocol.org. And yeah, basically that's it. If you haven't claimed any of your BPro rewards from the first liquidity mining, there's also a button down that page where you can actually claim those BPro as well. So yeah, that's basically it. Any questions on the liquidity mining? Everything is clear, not clear? Any questions? Okay. Second, let's see, Deborah is asking, what's the point of 20% incentives for lenders, compound maker, except increasing TVL on V1? So increasing, I think we've discussed that before in a few Discord discussions. I think it was also on the forum, where TVL currently, at least, in the current state of DeFi, of the DeFi ecosystem, TVL, though, and I think I know where Daber is, your point of view, and it has some truth in it. B.Protocol is working more towards the borrowed side of the protocols and less for the lending, as it's our value proposition is going towards that. We still, getting a protocol with a sizable TVL, putting it somehow higher on all the leaderboards of the different protocols and so on, gives you a different position, I believe, in the DeFi ecosystem. So getting more and more, getting, at least 250 TVL, which is not huge. We've been up to 270 at the peak TVL of B.Protocol. We see it as something quite important. I think there were others, both on Discord and the forum, the community, who vouch for that. I think at later stages might be true, and still true even now. That we do want to kind of get the attention of the more risky borrowers, maybe those who are kind of living on the edge and maybe are more receptive, or the possibility of having liquidations with those users are kind of higher. But still, I think, as we're still in a growing phase and still getting, the news about B.Protocol, getting a decent TVL is a good KPI at this stage. And of course, on the next liquidity mining, we can, the community can propose whatever other proposals out there. So we're still playing around with that. And this is why also we just give the 20% and, versus the 80% that goes for the borrowers. So it does incentivize more, more the depositors than the lenders. Anything else? Okay, so besides the liquidity mining, there was a lot of, the growth squad, which was also voted in the last kind of epoch voting cycle, and got 25K BPro to be basically used for growing the protocol. And there were kind of lots of discussions around that on Discord, and we're trying to formalize that and put up some kind of there is kind of an initial plan on the forum already, and we try to make it a bit more kind of actionable with action items and things like that. And I hope in the coming days also the squad, the growth squad members will introduce themselves maybe a bit more over on the forum and on Discord. And there were a few others who have suggested, great ideas and proposals on how to do stuff. And basically what we want to do is kind of experiment. DeFi is growing rapidly. There are so many channels and options to do things. So yeah, any idea is, very valuable. So, don't hesitate and just, jump in, get whatever initiative that you have in mind and try to push it forward. Kind of going for the fail fast or hopefully succeed fast kind of attitude, and experimenting a lot of stuff, from YouTubers to podcasts to covering articles on B.Protocol. There were a lot of ideas around those issues. So if there are any suggestions or questions and things like that, we can probably, not a lot of time to discuss it here. We hopefully from next week, we're going to announce it soon. We're going to have kind of a growth calls, independently from the community call. Whoever is, more minded to the growth side can, of course, join in. It will be an open discussion. So basically anything, if there's anyone who wants to share anything about that, please do. Okay, or if there are any other general questions before we wrap up this this call.
I have a general
any
question.
Suggestions,
Hello?
anything at all, just feel free to ask it now or put it later on the channels.
Hello?
I think OS has a question. Can you hear him, Itan?
No.
May I ask to elaborate more a little bit about your decision process mechanism?
Maybe if you can write it down because the connection is not very well.
No, we can't hear you. If you can write it down there's a community channel chat, so if you can just write it down there.
No, because I'm driving, so it's really not so easy for me. Okay, I will try.
I can hear you, OS, if you want me to relay the message to them.
Okay, just ask to elaborate a little bit more about the decision process mechanism on B.Protocol. Is there a quorum needs to be achieved in order to take decisions, or what will be the next step for HATS Finance to ask for funding from funding the B.Protocol Vault?
Yes, certainly. So he's asking about the decision process B.Protocol uses in the quorum, basically what HATS would need to do to get a proposal put forth. That's
you know the answer. You can answer it.
Yes, indeed. So basically, anybody can put forth a proposal onto the forum, and right now I can bring that forth to a Snapchat vote, or excuse me, a snapshot vote. So really, it's just a matter of getting some support on the forum, and we'll take the next step from there, which is putting it up for a vote. The quorum is 250,000 B.Pro. Does that help?
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. Any other questions? I have to say something about the votes in B.Protocol. Though we are doing a snapshot vote, kind of a off-chain, saving gas for users, we still get, there's roughly, if you take out the DAO reserve tokens and the tokens which held by the devs, by the team, there's roughly 1.3 million B.Pro in circulation available for voting. And we get, over 250 participating in the votes, which is roughly 20% over 20% participation, which is huge when you compare it to other protocols. I think that's a great sign for a very strong community that we have all together. We built around this protocol, though it's still early and still small, but has a lot of potential to grow much bigger. So I think that's a great sign for all of us. We're doing something right. So yeah, thanks for everyone participating in the voting and governance process. So unless there are any last questions or issues or anything, I guess we'll wrap it up this time. Announcement on the first growth call will be made soon in the coming days, probably towards the end of next week. Yeah, that's it. Thank you everyone for participating. Have a great week.
Thank you, Eitan. Thank you, everyone.
Good week, guys.